When the Galorama, the aliens whose planet was closest to our own, made an attempt on my planet, Zeguoza, the Galactic Federation withdrew its support. We were members of that federation, alongside thousands of other species. Their reason was simple. A war founded on ancient hate and malice is not one the Federation wishes to be a part of. It is true that the Galorama have been our enemies since time immemorial. Their spectra ships, fueled by psionic energy, have riddled the pink skies of Zeguoza before. The elders would stare toward those skies, their pallid green legs bowed by age, their failing eyes filled with hatred. They had seen what the Galorama were capable of. They remembered fire falling from the heavens. They remembered death. This was indeed a war fueled by ancient enmity. The elders knew it. My parents knew it. And I knew it. Why did the Galorama hate us? They claimed it was because of something our people had done to them long ago. So long ago that no living Zeguoza could remember it. I sometimes wondered if even the Galorama remembered. For a time, joining the Galactic Federation appeared to have ended the attacks. We believed membership had finally bought us peace. We were wrong. The Galorama returned, and this time they came with everything they had. Their ships gathered in orbit until they seemed to outnumber the stars themselves. We had prepared defenses. Those who valued the survival of Zeguoza had spent generations preparing for the possibility of another war. But the Galorama had advanced while we had merely survived. They were technologically superior, and they had come prepared to destroy the one thing protecting our entire world, the core dome. The transparent barrier surrounded Zeguoza from orbit, preventing anything hostile from reaching our atmosphere. Then the Galorama opened fire. Plasma cannons lit the sky, again and again and again. The beautiful pink heavens of Zeguoza disappeared beneath explosions and mushrooming clouds of fire. Night became day. We could do nothing but watch. Our fists tightened. Nails dug into pallid green palms. Tears filled our eyes and our whiskers twitched uncontrollably as the battle raged above us. The transparent dome began glowing orange. Every Zeguoza beneath it was suddenly bathed in the color of fire. Then orange became red. The core dome was dying. The Galorama cannons continued pouring pulse energy into the barrier until its 4 support sections overloaded. One after another, they exploded. The ground trembled beneath our feet, and then the red light vanished. Our shield was gone. For the first time, nothing stood between Zeguoza and the Galorama. Their ships descended through our atmosphere. Sirens screamed across our cities. Every able-bodied Zeguoza was called to arms. There were not enough plasma rifles. Those without them took blades, tools, anything that might serve as a weapon. We knew they would be almost useless against Galorama armor, but we took them anyway. We gathered together and sang the songs of our ancestors. Songs created for moments such as this, for times when darkness became tangible and the thought of light became nothing more than an echo. Above us, Galorama pulse cannons began to charge. Those fortunate enough to carry plasma rifles fired toward the sky. It accomplished almost nothing. Around me, some cursed the Galorama. Others cursed the Galactic Federation. One Zeguoza finally gave voice to what all of us were thinking. Did they not promise us support in times of war, no matter the reason for that war? The Federation issued a notice saying it would not interfere in Zeguoza Galorama matters. Any Federation species may help us voluntarily, but they will receive no Federation support for doing so. That was it then. We were doomed. There was no reason for another species to join our ancient war, nothing to gain, no reward, no benefit. The Galorama would finally destroy Zeguoza, and our species would disappear with it. One by one, the plasma rifles lowered. We understood the futility of fighting. Above us, static electricity danced across the underbellies of the Galorama ships as their cannons reached full charge. Some cried. Others simply embraced those closest to them, for the last time. I remember the silence most of all. Thousands of us stood beneath those ships, waiting for death. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and no one was coming to save us. The Galorama had won. Our defenses were destroyed. Our people were beaten. Our world was theirs. All they had to do was pull the trigger. Then there was a sound, a strange sound, one that few Zeguoza recognized, but those who understood what it meant immediately looked toward the heavens. Something was happening beyond our atmosphere. Technoscopes were raised toward the sky. Their operators stared into them in disbelief. Then word began spreading among us. Something was coming. At first, we thought perhaps the Federation had changed its mind, but this was not a Federation fleet. The Galorama seemed confused as well. Their ships began turning away from us, turning toward space. Then the heavens changed. A light appeared above Zeguoza, blue, brilliant, almost like a new sun being born. Space itself seemed to twist around it. The blue light expanded into an enormous spinning portal, and ships began pouring through. Not 100, not hundreds, thousands. They were iron ships covered with strange colored rectangles. Symbols we would later learn were called flags. They represented regions of their world called countries. There could be no mistaking who had arrived: the humans. The humans descended upon the Galorama fleet. The Galorama had lowered their ships into our atmosphere to bombard us more efficiently. Now that decision had trapped them. Their enormous vessels struggled to turn their weapons toward the enemy suddenly appearing above them. The humans gave them no time. Human weapons opened fire. They did not rely upon plasma. Their guns launched physical missiles carrying atomic warheads. The first missiles struck the Galorama ships. Then another wave came, and another. Soon, the sky was filled with them. The missiles tore through Galorama hulls before detonating deep inside their ships. One vessel disappeared in fire, then another, and another. Galorama ships attempting emergency space jumps from within our atmosphere overloaded and imploded. We watched in disbelief. Our whiskers twitched again, but this time not from fear, from awe. The battle was completely one-sided. It should have been us being destroyed. Instead, the humans had turned the Galorama fleet into burning wreckage. When the last enemy ships fell toward the oceans of Zeguoza, the humans did something else we did not expect. They came down. They brought food, medicine, doctors. They treated our wounded and searched our ruined cities for those who had become lost during the attack. They talked with us. They laughed with us. Some even sat among our children and played with them. These creatures who had arrived with such terrifying weapons now seemed remarkably gentle. We became fascinated by the symbols stitched onto their clothing. One Zeguoza pointed toward one of them. The human smiled. "It's the flag of New Zealand. It's where I'm from." Others told us the names of their homes: France, China, Belgium, Angola. We listened carefully, and we made sure to remember everyone. Eventually, I found myself sitting before one of their doctors. She shone a light into my eyes while checking me for injuries. A flag was stitched onto her white clothing: America. I gathered my courage and finally asked the question that had been troubling me since their arrival. Why? Why did you do this? Why did you save us? The human doctor smiled, and her answer was remarkably simple. "Let's just say us humans don't like bullies, And odd as the answer was, it was enough.